Hello friends and welcome to my video. I'm Sevin, I'm a comic book artist from Berlin. So with these videos that I want to start, my goal is to share my path with you by becoming a painter again. So I used to paint years ago, portraits mostly and in black and white with acrylic. But it's been a while since I've been thinking about getting back into colors, even though I never really worked with colors so much. I think I'm really intimidated by colors and how to make them match together and how to use them well to have something that is really coherent. So my goal now is to use this jelly gouache paint that I've bought more than a year ago and that I never dared to open and to use. So instead of starting a new project, I'm gonna use the strips that I made that I published on Instagram the whole month of January. I will link that below so you can check that out. And I will take some of these strips and I'm gonna turn them into small paintings with colorful paintings, sorry. And with this, you will follow me through my journey of relearning how to paint. And yeah, I think it's gonna be challenging because I feel like a kid who has never touched paint before, and I have to really understand how things work, how to work with the color, how to work with the water and everything else. And I'm gonna link below also all the information that you can find for my Patreon, because this is actually where I started to be more active and more serious about my art. I'm writing a comic book at the moment, and this comic book is taking its time. I'm very slow, and it's hard for me to, work every day and make this happen, even though it's one of my dreams to have a comic book that is published. Even if it's self-published, I don't care, but it's mostly that something that I want to do. And it's a comic book about startups, because I've worked in many startups here in Berlin and I wanted to share my experience with all of you guys. And I hope it's gonna make you laugh, and also it's gonna make you maybe think about the way that people are treated in those startups. I don't think it's all bad, to be honest. I know that there are good stuff. Some things are better than this old-fashioned office work, But yeah, so if you want to know more about this, you can join me on my Patreon. My goal is also to grow the community so we can have a bigger exchange and, I don't know, have fun. So that's my goal with all of this. And with the series of videos, I'm also trying that out. So please be nice. My goal here is not to be the best painter, and I'm not trying to show my skills or whatever. I'm mostly showing the evolution of how I'm gonna learn this process. So maybe you can also paint with me at the same time, or you can just watch it or put it in the background. And I'm gonna show you the first one, which was, how can I say? I had to do it twice because the first time my camera, which is my phone, didn't really work and I couldn't use the footage, but the end painting was actually nicer. I mean, the result was actually nicer than the second one that I made, I think. I don't know, I'm still a bit torn with this. But anyways, my goal is to have fun and to paint and to make videos. So let's now begin with the painting. I'm using my iPad Pro as a light table directly. You turn the brightness to the max, and then if you freeze the screen, you can basically use it as a light table. It's really practical, and I didn't really do it on purpose, but the paper is the exact same size as the size of my iPad. So that was super easy to reproduce. Of course, it moved a bit because I'm still not good with that. I have to find a way to really lock the screen, so even if I touch with my hand, it doesn't move. But I managed somehow. And then I added some details by hand. I'm using a regular pencil. I think it's an HB pencil. But next time I might use something that is maybe lighter. This is the colors that I wanted to try here. So I made this test on my iPad directly. And I'm keeping the iPad on the back so I can have a look and just follow whatever I had in mind. With this jelly gouache, I didn't really know how to start, so I just started. Basically, I took a bunch of white paint that I put on my palette because I knew that if I wanted to use white, I would then mix it with other colors by putting the brush in it, and I didn't want to mess it up. So to keep the white, I preferred to put some on the palette, then I can just, play with it. So I tried to see how it would blend with water, and for the sky I started with a little bit of blue, and then, as you can see, just water. I wanted to see how it would go if I put a lot of water, and then maybe I could make like gradient. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, on my table I have a bunch of a bunch of brushes that I already had from before. So I didn't buy anything new. I had most of the stuff at home already, except for the jelly gouache that was brand new that I opened just to start this painting. And before that I just swatched the colors to see what they would look like on paper on paper and how they would look like when they're dry. Then I didn't really mix the colors too much. I just basically diluted some of the colors with water, or maybe with some white or colors that I already had on my palette. And yeah, basically this first painting is a way for me to see how I want to use this color and how I want to play with the paint. So, as I said before, I used to paint a lot. I made mini portraits and other stuff, and I really enjoyed it. Acrylic is really cool because of the texture of the paint. And that's why I wanted to try jelly gouache, because I knew that it had this kind of texture, and it's called jelly gouache for a good reason, because it feels like it's jelly or like a pudding kind of texture. It's really enjoyable and it's very easy to use. I think I'm gonna. My goal is to make all of these paintings with this jelly gouache, and I know that if it gets a bit dry, you just reactivate it by putting some water. So this is gonna be fine. And my technique with paint is really random, to be honest. As you can see. I make some mistakes, and sometimes I don't wait enough for the paint to dry before I start another color. So I kind of messed it up at some points. So if you're gonna use watercolor or gouache, be careful with this. So you wait a bit for the paint to dry if you want to circle this area with another layer of paint that is another color, because otherwise they will blend together and they will mix. And if it's something that you're looking for, then great, because it's really fun when you just let the paint run with another color. I love this effect. And otherwise, be careful. Some places I put too much water, I think. But yeah, I knew that it wasn't gonna be the best, but I thought it could be cute still as a project. And these two guys, I made them randomly while I was trying to doodle. So I had COVID at the beginning of January, and I was stuck in bed, and I didn't want to work on the comic book. I didn't want to put too much pressure on doing something. So I just wanted to doodle and post something on Instagram almost every day so I could get something done, you know, because I thought a bit stuck and I thought that I wasn't able to really do anything special. So I started drawing one of these characters. I think the first one was the one on the left, and her name is Fraz, and the alien character on the right is called Simo. And it's yeah, so Fraz and Simo, or Simo and Fraz. I still don't know how to call them, but that's their names. And I started making them, and somehow the character on the left always looked bothered. No matter how I would draw her, she would look bothered. And I had the idea to put another character who was just so annoying that she had to roll her eyes always in the presence of that other person. And that's when Simo came along. Simo is kind of an alien, human alien, I don't know, but he's really. Simo is quite annoying. And you can see the way that he's annoying by the text that I'm writing. I started making them only in French, and then I thought, well, maybe I should just translate it into English because most of the people that are on my Instagram also speak English. So I've always posted both, one in French, one in English. And for this first drawing, I thought I would make it in French because it was the first one and it was only in French. So I thought, yeah, let's do it like this. So now I'm almost done with most of the big layers of paint. The bubble also, I wanted to make it very white, so the text will just pop out. And then I had to wait a bit, because the paint has to dry a bit. I'm adding some details, as you can see. I'm gonna put the eyes, and yeah, I think the eyes could be the last thing that I'm gonna put. And at the end, I've decided not to paint the trees in the back, as I planned on my iPad. I don't know why, but I thought I just wanted sky behind them, not trees. Even though now I look at the first painting that I made with the trees and I kind of liked it. Anyways. And also, when I started making this, I thought about my art goals for this next year. I mean, for this year, sorry, for 2022. And yeah, so I want to get better with painting, and also I want to be more. I want to post more things. It could be here on YouTube, or on Instagram, or on my website. That is not the best right now, but I want to update everything. And I just want to post stuff and maybe make a zine with those guys. And that would be cool, actually. So now that it's dry, I'm just putting some washi tape and I'm gonna use my pencils in order to make the outlines. Because at the beginning I wanted to do it with the paint, so black paint or colored paint, but then I thought, no, I'm gonna try with pencils just to see how it goes. And it has to be really, really dry, just so you know if you're gonna try at home. Wait for the paint to be super dry, that nothing comes to on your fingers, and then it will work out. And I used some gray because they're sitting on this stone bench. And but then I think I just continued with the black. No, this is blue. Anyway, with the pencils, which is cool, like you can have more details coming and you can just have fun with it. To be honest, I didn't have a process in my head. When I started, I just thought I would do everything with paint, and then I had the idea to do the last things with the pencils. I'm not happy with the blue outline for the bubble. Next time I make it black. It looks better when it was black. And yeah, that's the only thing I would change. But otherwise, I think they're quite cute here. And the colors are quite vibrant. and I like it. So I'm satisfied with this for this first try. Sorry. These are the pencils I used. It's the Caran Pablo, and they're really nice. Okay, so we are done with this painting. I hope that you enjoyed this process. And if you have any suggestions or ideas or tips, please leave them in the comments below. I would be happy to read them. And my goal here, as I said, is just to improve, to have fun, and also to bring people together so we can discuss this stuff. And along the way, with the next videos, I'll talk more about diverse subjects, and I don't think I can comment on the painting itself the whole time because it's gonna be boring. But I would love to share more ideas or subjects that are just in my mind. And if you're interested, join me on my Patreon. I'm already sharing a podcast every month where I just share my thoughts or where I'm at. And sometimes I talk about specific subjects. My goal is also to talk about the process, because this comic book that I'm making is one of my projects, and then painting is something else, and then using other techniques and materials is also very interesting for me. I might also share some videos about lino carving because I've been doing that for years. But yeah, basically you are giving me the motivation to do more things and to be really in the process of active creativity and not just here in my head and where most of the time my ideas just stay. And yeah, so that's my goal. Okay, that was my first video. I hope it's gonna be nice to watch. Let's see. Bye.